Just like my man Kanye said, you can't tell me nothing, though. You can't tell me nothing. You was put here to hustle. I'm talking about to these youngsters out here, like, forget these older, concepts about saving yourself and these religious concepts. I don't care if you Muslim, Christian. I don't give a damn. Forget all of that, because you was put here to hustle. And before I can even talk about all of that, about how you was put here to hustle, let's deal with these religious leaders, because a lot of them started out as hustlers. Just think about it. All of them, mostly. Your black leaders, even your European and Caucasian leaders, Madame Blavatsky and them came over to this country and started out as hustlers, trappers, coming over here to get resources so they can make things by hand. Like they say that Christopher Columbus started, like he pretty much discovered this country, right? He came over here as a hustler. Christopher Columbus, he was sent over here, of course, by higher up royalty, but essentially he came over here on a mission as a hustle. And there was drugs involved in what he was doing. It was, you know what I'm saying, it was more like, being in this country was more like a mafia movie at one point. And then eventually what happened is that it was like a mafia movie composed of different secret societies all coming to this country for different reasons to get resources, essentially. And what happened is that you have contracts. See, these people, these church leaders and these people, they be like ex-pimps and stuff, and ex-drug dealers, and they want to go and leave it, right? And then now they saved, and they this and they that, and they stop doing it, and they quit, right? But then now you locked into a contract, though, right? With that drug. See, I take this shit serious. Like, even if you're a herbalist, you got herbalists out there. You know what I'm saying? And you locked into a contract with that herb. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, you like, well, I did this with this herb and woo, woo, woo. But it's like, did you totally pay off that herb? That herb gave you a loan. That herb was here before you were here. See, many of you are composed of herbs. You were created from herbs. They're not telling you what you really came from. We came from plants. And you have contracts with these plants, but then you go run out. Now you take a synthetic, going to the doctor, talking about you got the coronavirus, you taking drugs, and doing all of this and that, and totally selling out to enforcement agencies. Totally selling out to them. So now you putting yourself into a situation where you're kind of like a snitch. Because now you selling stuff. You're not hustling anymore. You gave up on the contracts that you had formed. Yeah, these religious leaders doing this, but you don't realize that that herb that you was hustling and getting all this money off of, whether whatever, or that drug, or that heroin, or whatever you was using to make money, or putting it in your body to enhance your body, you now have a contract with that. And until that contract is paid off, there are shamans, just like there are bankers that can come and get you and hold you on charges of owing money to the bank or Social Security or whatever, or Visa and all of these different companies or whatever. There are shamans that can come and seize your land, take your land from you, and take everything from you that you thought you got when you quit. I'm talking about everything, your marriage and all of that. And they can do it several ways. They can use the courts and paperwork, or they can use voodoo and spells that the universe, see, when you do voodoo and stuff like that, the way I see it, you put spells on people. It's always used as a form of warfare. It was always used as a form of a bigger, it was never because you mad because old girl took your man, so now you want to go and put a spell on her because she took your man. I mean, that people do that and it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying the purpose of it, of spell casting, was like shooting a missile at somebody. And when you play with a person's herbs, like a shaman, a true shaman has traced themselves back all their past lives through their family bloodline and their land and everything. So they are conscious of when somebody is extorting them or taking from them. And then you go fuck with them, right? So then now they putting curses on you. And scrying and doing things and putting spells on you. Because not only are you extorting them and taking from that shaman, but you had a contract with that particular drug that you came over here hustling to get over here. with, or that particular number that you use. Like they say Malcolm X ran numbers, right? Well, he got a contract. See, all these guys did street shit. So he got a contract with those numbers he was running. So here he is, years later, in the Nation of Islam, talking about he taking a vow to poverty and this and that. And then now he got people coming looking for him, banging on his door looking for him because he owed money. Because he took a vow of poverty, talking about he ain't going to do this and that because he wasn't conscious. He didn't stick to the contract when he first signed it, which was the first time he sold that number or whatever money he made off of that, whatever note they gave him off of that first number he ran. You locked in, buddy, until you totally get rid of that daemon or that contract, and Jesus can't save you. I'm going to talk about all of this like in a few minutes though, but once I get myself situated, but Jesus can't save you. Because I'm saying that, because many people are like, well, I'm just going to go get saved from the church to get out of these problems I got, these people in the streets looking for me and this and that. And I'm just going to go to the church, and it's like you just going really to the higher up bosses, really. When you go to church, they're not going to save you because they all in the church. Giving them loans, paying them, tithing them. The shamans paying them churches off. Don't you know that? Who you think paying them, giving them all those donations at first? I mean, I don't know how the churches are doing with donations, but the big ones, oh, that's Haiti, and that's, what I'm saying, these different indigenous tribes breaking these churches off, doing spells, getting money, big money now, off of the fact that these guys locked into old contracts. These pastors is running these churches, and they know it, and they got to constantly keep feeding them. Shamans, that's how they get it. See, that's how they keep the demons off of them. The Christian churches, you want to know, that's how they doing it. They work with those foreigners to keep breaking them off money, and they keep giving the church money, donate money, so now they have a contract or a tie to this particular church. And this particular church now is in contract based upon the leader of the church as to whatever he was into. And you following this person, you're now contracted. That's right, you registered with this person or this leader. So now you are in contract for life until you figure out how to break that contract. And it's held on different levels. That's what I'm getting at. There's a spiritual level to it. I'm speaking on the spiritual level. Of course, we know the mundane level. You got to get out and, accept it for value and all of that. But first, you got to break this spiritual contract is what I'm saying. Because you lie at some point. You use drugs to enhance yourself, and then you quit. You gave up on it. You're like, that's crazy. You promoting being a drug guy. I'm not promoting that. I'm promoting why did you do it in the first place, and where did it get you now, and are you still benefiting from it, which you probably are. And then how can you be taxed? That's what I'm talking about. So, like, even Elijah, all of them, man. Running the streets at first. Then he met up with, whatever they say he met up with Noble Drew, Master Fard Muhammad. Same thing with Master Fard Muhammad, running the streets. Using voodoo and stuff like that. And then eventually they all have these questionnaires, right? You notice that all their lessons are questions and answer. And that's cool, I'm not against it, but I'm pointing out for a reason. Who's questioning them? So now we're going to go into that. The enforcement agencies. 101s, Noble Drew got the 101s, Clarence 13 Act, all of them. They got these question and answers. Formats. Because you now answering and giving over all this information and wisdom that you got from the plant or the marijuana you was smoking or whatever you was doing or before you was in the streets, and you came up with all of these concepts and you was running your own show as you were supposed to do as an indigenous American or indigenous person. Then now you got these foreign enforcement agencies asking you questions because you snitching now at this point. Because now you're ready to quit. And then they offer you a girlfriend, a prostitute essentially. You ready to just give up on everything now. And she's ready to give up on everything. She may have been running the streets too. She's ready to give up on everything. And now you're ready to be a willing slave for the Matrix. And then you come and try to get legit information from shamans and stuff like that. However, they're going to look at your heart or your intentions a lot of times. And you're just not giving your best a lot of times to what you set out, like your original intentions in life. A lot of people aren't giving their best to their original intentions in life. Like if you made your first dollar off cutting grass, I mean, it's applicable to any scenario. If you made your first dollar off cutting grass, you are obligated by note to that dollar. You obligated by note to that dollar and to landscaping, and to doing something with land before you leave this planet. So you can't sell out. You can't sell your soul. So that's what I'm really hitting at. And like selling drugs or whatever and all the stuff that they're talking about, that has nothing to do with selling your soul, because we were given, like they say that we were, because people always say, well, God gave us dominion, right? He gave us certain things so that we would never need anything. Like we were born to be wealthy, right? Which is true, and I believe it. However, you sell that out. That's what I'm getting at. You sell your birthright out every single day. What God gave you, what naturally occurs on this planet, to the corporate fiction, to artificial shit. You go to the store to buy everything. Nobody's going out and looking for just about nothing anymore because everything is packaged up. So you selling out. You do very little by hand now because you're selling out. You sold yourself out to the corporate fiction. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you, like the person's watching this video. I'm saying, like, I'm really speaking actually to the leaders out there. So now you become a snitch. So what I'm getting at is that, and then that's where we're going to lead me into part two, is that, because they got mad at me, right? Like, actually one person I was speaking with last night. We were just having a positive debate, actually. It wasn't, like, negative or anything, but it was just kind of like, he said I said some things about some groups, and these groups are powerful, and how could I have said that, and I could have, hurt my name by saying stuff about these groups that are powerful. And I'm like, I have no respect for hardly any groups at this point. And I don't see any of them as being powerful because most of them sell out to the government. Like, what I'm saying is that on a hustling level, though, you got to understand, I'm speaking on a hustler's level. You're talking about a salesman or business person, but I believe hustling supersedes sales and business. And I could explain that in a couple of videos soon, I will. But I'm saying on a hustler's level, y'all weak, though. Keep it all the way 100 with you, because like you letting the NSA make all these billions of dollars off you controlling shit. You ain't running nothing. You letting them run you. You letting the police make all of this money, and you ain't doing nothing. I'm talking about these people that supposedly sales people and business people and hustlers. Like, you working these jobs. Like, who's really producing something? Like, you're really weak though, for real. I'm keeping it real with you though. Just sitting around doing nothing and letting these people benefit off of you. You know what I'm saying? You wake up in the morning, go get the children ready, go take a shower, this and that. They extorting you. You a sucker. These motherfuckers is bosses that's running this world. They watching you in the shower and this and that. You ain't even got no control over it. I'm serious, man. It's sad. You call yourself a child of God, talking about Jesus gonna save you. Jesus is pimping you at this point. The world, and that's why I gotta do a lot of videos. The world is over. The world ending, not the world is over. The world ending and all of that stuff. Don't you know that happened already? And I'm explaining to you on an extraterrestrial level how it happened. It happened right before your eyes. You didn't even see it. Jesus then came and went, all of that. So now you stuck to rebuild. But then you letting these NSA, so now the NSA got out of power. The media has all the power over you because you ain't hustling nothing no more. You ain't doing nothing with your hands on the streets. You're not selling anything. So security done bought you off. Because you sold, and they using your own account. Like I explained to you, your own account to own you. It's sad. So I'm gonna drop a couple more, man, because if you got a contract, man, even as an herbalist, I'm speaking to them too. And you taking herbs to enhance this and enhance that. Oh, you locked in, buddy. Buying it. See, people want to run around here with this money and just throw money around, talking about they doing this, they sovereign because they throwing around 20s and shit, and giving, get paying for sex or whatever. I mean, that's cool. You do what you do. You can control it. That's cool at that point for a minute. But I'm saying over time, they're going to annuity you. Because you're locked into a contract. That's what happens to these pastors. They talking about they got sacrificed. And no, they got annuitied for starting things and putting their hands into things and not finishing them. And passing them off to their children. They say the children suffer because of the parents. So you want to pass the debts off to your children, make them pay it, and go run around here and act like you are a saint now. No saint. You let the enforcement beat you. That's basically what I'm getting at. The private unit they took the land from the natives all over the world, and you letting enforcement beat you. You letting the KGB beat you. You letting the FBI beat you. You letting the CIA beat you. You letting these groups beat you. They got more money than you. You're saying you got all of this and that. But everybody got contracts with these groups. So I'm going to shut down and say this. What you need to do is start from the very beginning. The origin. Where did you make your first dollar? That was your first contract. How did you make your first dollar in life? Your first dollar. I don't care if you got it from somebody in your family, whatever. Okay, well, you got to go. You got a contract with asking people for money then. How did you get it? They give it to you as a gift. Why? What did they give you to as a gift for? Was it for a holiday or whatever? Okay, you have a contract now with that person to now go and make sure to see to it that you not only get out of any debt that you may be from up under that person, but any spiritual debt that you may have acquired from not accepting that contract for value and not obligating and taking that contract as a note and totally fulfilling that note. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut down. Like after I say this, so when you make these contracts, you're in this for life. You can't sell out. And when you sell out, just know you becoming. That's what happens. You're becoming a snitch now for the government or for whatever group you sold to. You're like, but I didn't sell anything. I just left it alone and went into the church. No, you sold everything that you was doing to the church. I'm trying to explain it to you, but I'm just gotta break it down. You went to the church. You was into the involved in the streets. You built up commodities and equity, whatever you was doing in the street, and then you went and sold it out to the church and gave it out to the church. So now they own you, and they took over and started managing everything. And if that goes bad, then guess what? They're going to be held responsible for making sure that for making sure that it's corrected and that it's accepted for value. So what happens is that this is why the churches start to sacrifice their members. You're like, this is not true. Okay, go check it out. This is why you have people like Jim Jones back in the 70s that they say he took a bunch of people down there and killed them or whatever. Like, what was that really about? They killed themselves. What was that really about? Why would they go murder themselves? See, back in the day, they took people like Jim. He was a leader. He took into the account that when these people came to follow him, it was for life. It was like a contract, and they were up under him as a leader to the end, to the death. That's what they're not telling you. That's what it was to convert yourself over to a religion, truly. Not all of this glamour and glitz that you see now. That's what it used to be. You in it for life. You got a contract with everything that you produced before that point, and then you were now saved, like saving money. Why do they use that term? I want to get saved with Jesus, because now you're saved. And now the church is holding your savings account and all the contracts that you acquired before that. So this shit is real. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. You was born into this life. You better figure it out. So as always, stay vigilant. Don't be no fool, man. Don't be no snitch, no sellout out here. Real.